Welcome to another episode of Otherworldly Encounters with Mike and Brian. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing great. I'm off for vacation starting on Wednesday, so it's hard to complain about a whole lot.
Oh boy, vacation, eh?
Yeah, going down to Asheville, North Carolina for a wedding.
Nice. So it's not like a 2-week vacation. It's just kind of like
No, it's like a Wednesday to Sunday type deal. And honestly, I've been like burning on all cylinders here recently. I saw the band Tesla. I saw the band The Foxies this week. We had big weekend, NFL kickoff weekend. You were at the Browns game. I was at the Bengals game.
And they were both shit shows.
Yeah, both shit shows.
Do we want to talk about it?
Not really. I'm not. It's too soon.
It is too soon.
I do want to give a shout out. A lot of fun. So I play music. I'm a drummer, and I got to hook up with a dude who I played with in college today, who's got a kick-ass band out in Salt Lake City, Utah.
Oh.
Brought me some gear, Super Bubble. You can check them out, superbubbleband.com, Super Bubble on Facebook, Super Bubble Band on Instagram, and they're on Spotify, Apple Music, and SoundCloud. So give them a listen.
So what kind of music is it?
It's kind of like we were talking about it today, and him and I both kind of cringe when somebody says like, what kind of music is it? Because it's hard to classify music. I would put him in it's easy to say a jam band, but he's got a lot of horns and there's chorus loops coming back in. So jam band-ish, I guess, but I really dig it. So give it a listen, check it out.
Well, we'll have to listen to it later.
All right.
Because I'm curious. I mean, some of the bands that you've played for me in the past are kind of...
Oh, I'm all over the place. You never know what I'm going to get into.
Yeah, but most of them, I would say most of them are really good.
Yeah.
Some of them I'm just like, I don't know, man. It's not really
These
my
guys
jam.
are legit. They're pretty good. They just did a tour in Amsterdam last year, which is pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
My weekend, man, it was, High State, go Bucks.
Mm-hmm.
We got the big win. Now, granted, it was, Western Michigan.
Yeah, and at least we had one win for the state of Ohio. God knows the Browns and Bengals can't win shit.
I mean, when the Browns only have one first down in the first half, and the stadium goes nuts in the third quarter when they actually got their second first down, that's saying something.
Do you remember when the Browns, when they did the refrigerator thing with the beers, and the fridges would unlock once they won a game?
Mm-hmm. I do remember this. Yeah. They're about to lock them back up. This could be another season where they go, and whatever.
Man.
I just don't want to talk about it. It gives me just...
The Bengals had an 8.5-point spread.
That is a large spread.
Survivor pools, I didn't pick them because I was going to save them for the end of the year. They're in my head, they're an elite team. Now, granted, I'm obviously biased because I'm a fan, but man, that took out the Survivor pool right out of the gates.
Yeah, well, I mean, 8.5-point spread for NFL is huge.
Yeah, 3 points is home field advantage, so you're more than double.
I mean, Browns had a 2.5-point spread. They were favored by 2.5 points, and
the Browns were favored
by 2.5, and they were home.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah,
that didn't pan out.
Fucking Deshaun Watson.
Did the 8.5. So.
Jeez, man. Yeah, let's not play anybody in preseason because they don't need the reps.
It's hard being a professional Ohio State sports team fan. Bengals. The Bengals were in the Super Bowl and they've been pretty good. The Browns, oh my God, can't find a quarterback. The Reds have sucked. The Guardians have actually been decent, I guess.
I don't know who the Guardians are.
The Blue Jackets are so-so. I guess we did have the...
Who are the Guardians?
Yeah, the Indians.
Oh, the Indians. Yes. The Indians are so-so.
We did have the soccer team. They won a...
Columbus Crew.
Cup.
Yeah, no, they've won. I think they've won a couple, actually.
Oh.
I would say that's probably the most successful sporting franchise we have right now.
Super.
But anywho, all right. What are we doing drink tonight, bud?
Well, you brought over beers tonight, and I've got...
And let me just, real quick, because I did make a post earlier on Instagram asking for advice on some beers to drink tonight, and there were some really good options. However, when I went to the gas station today to grab brews, these two just stuck out to me because I was like, these just really, to me, fit. So, What are you drinking?
Rheingeist beer for humans.
Yeah, so I just thought that was super cool.
Yeah, not for aliens, humans.
Yeah, and then I'm drinking Rheingeist Knowledge Imperial Indian Pale Ale. So I don't know if
you're going to get smarter?
See it? No. No, you can't. You can't make me any smarter. But this is 8.5.
Ooh, doozy. What's this guy? 4.5?
But it does not taste like an 8.5. You know how like most
Good.
high ABV beers, they really have like that just
Yeah.
punch in the mouth type.
Yeah.
This doesn't have them. That's actually really smooth. Highly recommend.
It's dangerous.
All right. So you want to know what we're talking about tonight?
I do want to know what we're talking about.
We're going to talk about the Phoenix Lights tonight.
Okay. I think I've heard of those. I'm not super familiar with it, though.
I never heard of it, but I came across it in some research, and I thought it'd be kind of interesting.
Okay.
This is more falls into maybe the conspiracy, government cover up type stuff.
Okay.
All right. So the Phoenix Lights, it was a series of mysterious lights observed on the night of March 13th in 1997.
Okay.
All right. They were they were of the skies of Phoenix, Arizona, in Sonora, Mexico. Thousands of people reported seeing these, seeing it like a formation of lights described as either like a V-shaped pattern or a triangular craft. They were silently hovering or moving across the sky. And it was like it gained like widespread
Is this
attention.
at nighttime?
Yeah, this was at night.
Okay.
Yeah, and the thing that I thought was kind of interesting is that it wasn't just like one individual who saw these lights. It was thousands, right? And then they didn't give a number, but they're just saying thousands of people saw these lights in a triangular formation. Some even say it was like more of like a boomerang formation. But they were flying over Phoenix and Sonora, Mexico. So I thought that was pretty fascinating. But so once these people were like reporting all these lights, of course the government was slow to react. Shocker. But then like the mayor of Phoenix got on there and was just basically making fun of all the people who reported it. Like he had one of his staff members dressed up as an alien and shit during his news conference and just was completely just bashing, making fun of all these people who reported these lights. Now, according to the government's response was, oh, that was just an A-10 warthog. They was dropping flares. But the people who actually witnessed it were like, the lights was not like characteristic of flares being dropped. So I was in the military, so I know what flares being dropped from planes are as they're coming down doing, escaping gun runs or whatever. And you can tell what a flare looks like. They don't really fly in a formation across the sky. They fall, right? So I don't really believe that, and I don't think the thousands of people who actually saw this, believe it either, which again, I think that's just the government trying to blow smoke up everybody's ass. They think that we're gullible and we're going to believe everything they say. I mean, would you believe if you saw a string of lights that were flying like in a coordinated fashion across the sky that those were flares?
Well, I don't know. It reminds me back to the episode that we did with Sean and the lights that he showed us that were kind of in a line and then took off into the sky. But I do remember, the one thing I remember from Phoenix Lights is that, and I remember the military saying it was A-10s. And I thought there were two separate events. So like A-10s flying in a formation and was like one set of observations, and then A-10s dropping flares was like a second set. But I might be mistaken because I don't know much about this one.
Yeah, so like the first event happened around 8:15 p.m. It involved a V-shape formation moving across the sky.
Okay.
The second event happened at 10 p.m. And was a stationary set of orbs over the city. Many witnesses believe that these were like connected, yet the military offered a single explanation: flares.
So the flares were what was over the city, allegedly?
The government says, or the military says, both incidents were flares.
Oh.
And, I understand that military does a lot of training operations, and maybe I could be wrong here, but I don't know of a lot of training operations that occur over major cities. Usually it's, out in the desert or a place because, accidents do happen, especially with aircraft. So I don't really believe that there was A-10 warthogs flying over Phoenix, Arizona, dropping flares. I just don't believe that.
I assume there's a lot of videos and photos of this event then.
I didn't find any. I'm sure there's some videos or photos. I didn't really look for that. Okay. I know that you were going to ask me that, but we were kind of crunching for time. So you're getting what you're getting. I'm giving you straight facts.
Okay.
You can look it up, Google it.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to shortchange your viewers right now.
Got it.
I'll find some links. I'll post it in there somewhere. But the governor's response, and I don't really know how to say his last name. It was like something, I don't even know how to say it. But anyways, they mocked the event during a press conference, bringing out an aide dressed as an alien, which I just mentioned earlier. I think that is incredibly funny. But also it goes with what we've talked about in the past, where people who see unexplained things don't feel comfortable coming forward because of incidents like this. You have a public official going out there and actively mocking thousands of people because of what they saw or what they claim. So I just think that was kind of fucked up, to be honest with you. And then despite many sightings, FFA and NORAD claim no radar anomalies or aircraft in the vicinity at the time. So again, that goes against what the government's saying. They're saying that A-10s were flying in the area, that they were dropping flares, but NORAD and the FAA both stated that there were no aircraft in that vicinity at those times. So, and we both know that in our past research that some of these UAPs can go undetected by our radars. So, that makes a little bit of sense to me. And a number of, like I say, a large number of witnesses reported, reported the size of the aircraft. I don't know. There was no experienced pilots, and everybody said that, it was not aircraft because, a lot of people witnessed this. So a lot of people with different experiences, and they're like, no, that wasn't an aircraft. It wasn't flares. So you got those types of people that are out there. And again, what do they have to gain by saying it's not an aircraft? So I just, I believe the witnesses. I'll probably believe witnesses over the government anytime. I don't know.
Especially if they're in bulk and there's by the thousands.
Yeah, it would be different if it was just maybe one person. You know what I mean?
I guess, were people seeing a real shape, or the lights were just in a shape? Like, could they see an outline of a craft, or was it just lights in the shape of a V or boomerang?
So from my understanding, it was just lights in the shape of
a
boomerang or, a triangle.
Okay.
So, but the thing is, like, the people saw it in two different locations, Mexico and in Phoenix, Arizona. That's the crazy thing about it. So the same style of lights, but two different countries, But like it was days after the incident that our government or our military came out and said that it was, a training exercise, or it was the lights were flares dropped during the training exercise at Berry Goldwater Range.
What was the town in Mexico? Phoenix, and what did you say?
What was it? Hold on. Oh, Sonora. Phoenix, Arizona, and Sonora, Mexico.
Okay.
Now, the funny thing is, the mayor who initially mocked everybody eventually came out and actually said that they saw the lights as well, and that it was potentially UFO. But that was after the fact, like after they went on live TV and just mocked everybody.
Isn't that kind of them?
It's like that's such a politician right there, speaking out both sides of the mouth.
So I just wanted to look up the geographic distance between Sonora, Mexico, and Phoenix lights, and just looking at driving directions, which is a pretty close to straight line. It's like 359 miles.
6 hours and 14 minutes.
Yeah.
And then so possible, cover up theories is that there's speculation that radar data was either not released or was suppressed. So maybe if you think of Graves and Fravor, where it was those UAPs were being seen on radar, but they, what was the main radar that was for those that they never released that. It was the
Talking about the radar system.
yeah. Remember there was they were saying like, hey, did you see this on this specific radar?
Well, in our past episode, we were talking, and I've got it here in my notes somewhere. APG 79 is what got upgraded with Graves.
Yeah, but what was remember when they were like, hey, check out whatever this system was? It had a specific name to it, but they never released, because I think that gave a broader view of like a bigger picture.
Oh, you're talking about the situational awareness screen.
Yeah, the situation.
It's like a God's eye view of the battlefield.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I'm wondering if they have that same thing for this incident, and they're not just they're just not releasing that info.
Yeah.
So, but eyewitnesses did report seeing military jets in pursuit of the objects. So is that how the military is tying in like a training exercise?
How are people differentiating military jets from the actual objects? How do they know that they aren't one and the same?
Well, I mean, when I was on the golf course on Saturday, surprisingly, 2 jets flew over the golf course, which doesn't happen. Like, I've never seen 2 fighter jets fly out in our area. Now, I've seen like the big cargo planes and stuff, because there is like a training flight, but to have 2 jets and they have very distinct sound to them. Mm-hmm. These things had no sound. They were just hovering. They were just going from point A to point B in some type of a formation. And then you have the jets coming in behind them.
Okay.
So me personally, I'd be able to differentiate the 2. Okay. But I'm pretty sure, common citizen can differentiate the 2 as well. Like, you would be able to. If a jet came over, you'd hear it, right?
I'm just wondering if a jet's following an object, because obviously the sound, you would see the jet and then the sound would follow a ways after. So are people mistaking that those are all jets because they're hearing the sound after the object goes by? You know what I mean? Because you're hearing the engine on the back end because the plane's moving at whatever speed.
Right. But I think with the objects themselves, they saw the objects prior to the jets, right? So they see these objects going across the sky. Now, I would say if this happened recently, I would say it was probably a bunch of drones, because now they're able to send hundreds of drones up in the air at one time and do all these really crazy formations and everything else. They don't make any noise, right? But this happened in, 97. Mm-hmm. So drones were probably around, but not as commercial as they are nowadays. But I would say that seeing those lights in formation moving and not hearing anything, and then all of a sudden there's the response of jets coming in, I think that's completely different, or telling a little bit.
Okay.
And then there was just like initial silence from authorities. Despite thousands of people witnessing the event, there was no immediate response from local, state, or federal authorities. Mm-hmm. Many people tried to report the sighting, only to be met with dismissive answers, which, shocker, right? Mm-hmm. It wasn't until after a significant media attention that the military finally gave out some type of a report or, explanation.
Did the military do that in conjunction with the governor? Like, was that a singular statement, or the governor brought out his alien dude and then the military did something separate?
If I was thinking of in chronological order, I'm going to say that probably the governor came out first and then the military came out after that.
Okay.
Or it could have been vice versa. I don't know.
Yeah.
But the governor did make that U-turn. The later admission that he had seen the craft himself, and after initially dismissing the event, led to widespread speculation that he had been pressured to downplay the incident. His comments years later about seeing something unexplainable have fueled suspicion and a larger cover-up. So, yeah. What's your thoughts so far on this?
I don't know. It's just lights in the sky, right? Like I guess what sets it apart from other things is the thousands of people that saw the lights in the sky. So it's like a mass audience.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it could. I mean, we've seen like the the Starlight satellites, right? Or whatever they're called. Starlink, and they all traveled linear, in a straight line, but everybody knew what that was.
Right.
I guess if we walked outside right now and we saw a boomerang or a triangle style formation of lights, what would you first think it was? And there was making no sound. They were just.
So I think that's the thing that's hard, right? And especially at night. And I think the reason I feel skeptical about this right now is like, we don't have any kind of like elevation data. These aren't like 100 feet off the ground, apparently, and especially if jets are chasing them. So like, if a jet's high enough in the air, you're never going to hear it go by. You'll see it and you'll see the lights at night, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to hear anything. So if there was a formation flying high that was high enough you couldn't hear it, and then one flying low, it would look like there was something going by that wasn't making noise, but then somebody, chasing them. Because from the ground, especially at night, you have no ability for depth perception. I don't think anyway, other than the size of the light.
I guess I wish there would have been some maybe estimates from the witnesses of how high they thought they really were. Are we talking 200 feet? Are we talking 50,000 feet?
Right.
Obviously from the ground, you're not to be able to give an exact, but
right.
It would be interesting to know, to your point, how high are we talking?
Yeah, because I think that would make a difference on the sound front. Because right now it's lights in the sky and then jets chasing, but I don't know. It seems questionable, I guess, to me.
Yeah, because drones, like, I remember, when I was overseas, we had drones, but I never knew they were there because you couldn't hear them. You know what I mean? Mm. So very well could have just been a bunch of drones, but again, you're seeing it from two separate countries, and you got thousands of people seeing the same thing.
And it's in 97.
And it was in 1997, exactly. And like I say, I don't think commercial drones are really that prevalent, especially if you're getting, enough to make a boomerang shape. And I don't even know how many. The research that I found, it doesn't even say how many lights there actually were. It was just.
I remember from something forever ago, it was 5. Like I don't remember the boomerang. I remember a triangle, like a point on the tip and then 2 out to each side.
Okay. Yeah, I guess for me, when I think of a boomerang, I'm thinking of legit, and I'm thinking like the full boomerang. So
like a crescent moon shape.
Like the lights are going all the way around it.
Oh, okay.
And when I think of a boomerang, they're like, oh, the lights look like a boomerang. So I'm thinking, like it's all the way around the entire light. So, but I don't know. Man. I just thought it was interesting. I'm indifferent on this one. I just think if there was, if I would have actually did better research and found some pictures or maybe some videos, that would change my mind a little bit. But I don't know. Thousands of people saw it. I'm gonna say it's plausible. Just because of all the people that saw it.
Well, I feel like we've covered enough like cases that have been like had more concrete evidence to them than this one, that it leads me to believe that there are things that are out there that we don't know. But like you and I talk about, it's that separating the 90% from 10%. And like, this is just one of those ones where it's a story, and I'm sure there's photos and videos, but even so, if it's just lights in the sky, like you don't know what the hell that is. It's just lights in the sky. I don't know. Like, I always like to see the photos and videos corroborated with radar evidence, or like, it's interesting that they were seen in 2 places, the Sonora, Mexico, and then Phoenix. So we know they're 350 mile or 650, whatever the hell that was, distance apart. Mm-hmm. Like if we could pinpoint the time they were seen in Phoenix and the time they were in Sonora, you could gauge how fast these things were moving.
Well, let's just say it was 8 and 10 o'clock, right? So that's 2 hours.
Is that what the timing was?
Well, there was 2 times. There was 2.
Well, one was the flares over the city, I thought, too.
Well, yeah. Well, that was when the government said that there was whatever. But there was some witnesses that there was a few that claim that some of the witnesses were discouraged from speaking out by unidentified individuals. For example, several witnesses claim that when they reached out to report the incident, they were told by supposed officials that it was non-event were given warnings to forget what they saw.
Which is interesting, right? The black suits coming in and doing that
Yeah.
stuff, and like, yeah, I don't know. I never really bought the black suits whole thing and buy-offs like that, but there's a documentary that was done on the Virginia, Brazil UFO landing case, and this woman who lived in Virginia, Brazil said these guys showed up and $3 million you had to move X amount of miles away and you could never talk about it again. She was like, no, this is my home, and stayed. And it was like, right, you have to the point, like, you have nothing to gain.
Right. And then I also found that some of the witnesses stated they were either intimidated or their photographs and video were confiscated.
Huh.
So if it was like, there's numerous videos on YouTube of military jets dropping flares.
Yeah.
So if it was such a threat to national security, why would all those videos be on YouTube?
Yeah.
So now it leads you to believe, okay, well, maybe there is something with this if they're going to that effort or to, that extent to where they're intimidating or confiscating video and pictures.
Yeah. Lou Elizondo just did the Joe Rogan podcast, and he's got that book coming out called Imminent. And it was an interesting podcast. A lot of it I knew, but the one interesting thing is, like, Rogan was asking him, like, what is the most compelling piece of evidence that you've seen to date? And without getting into specifics, he's like, it's a 4K video from some type of reconnaissance. I don't remember if it was a plane or helicopter or whatever, but a 4K video of this UFO. Well, they're showing an offshore oil platform, whatever, like, call it the size of a city block. And then there's a submerged, USO, underwater unknown submerged object. Whatever.
Sounds great.
Call it an underwater UFO that zooms by this oil platform at like 500 miles per hour and is twice the size of the oil platform. And he's like, it's all in 4K.
Can we call those Moby Dick moving forward?
Sure.
All right. I don't know.
I think it's USO, underwater submerged or unknown submerged object.
Okay. Yeah, we can go with that, I guess.
Yeah.
You want to use the official
But
terminology.
point being is there's a lot of video out there that I'm sure that we haven't seen that's probably a lot better resolution, higher quality, and is being kept for whatever defense secret or, who knows what.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think this one's plausible. Once you start confiscating photos, like, you're confiscating evidence, and you've got unknown people just showing up from whatever government agency to collect it, there's got to be something with it.
Yeah. The problem is it's all just alleged, right? But that's the same with most of these things.
And I'm not even saying that it's aliens. I'm saying it could be another foreign country.
Yeah. Or black ops of some sort.
Yeah, absolutely. It could be a foreign country with some type of superior technology that, they infiltrated our radar systems, or maybe we were tracking it and they just so happen to fly over one of our major cities in another country.
Yeah. I mean, whatever. That's totally plausible.
I think all of it's plausible.
And even going back to, like, David Fravor, right? I remember his interviews, him saying, they're like, did you witness a UFO? And he's like, I don't know what I saw. I don't know if it's a UFO or not. I just know that it exceeds the capabilities of anything I've ever seen to date.
Right.
Whether it's black ops from this world or not.
Well, I mean, that's even when we had Sean on and we were doing the recap. I mean, even in his professional opinion, he's like, I don't know what that is. I can't say it's a UAP. I can't say it's a UFO. All I can say is it's interesting.
Yeah.
Because, again, we don't know what technologies our government actually has or other governments actually have. And that very well could have been some type of, government or military technology. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's not a UFO. Maybe none of this UFO.
Yeah. And I get it from the government standpoint. You don't know if these are friend or foe or if they're neutral, right? Like, back to the farm lab or zoo. You probably don't know what these are. Maybe we do and we're in cahoots with them. Who knows? But, like, I get it. And if I'm the military and I can't protect us from them, then I do my best to cover it up.
Did I send you that video where you had where it talked about the alien species that have like that agreement with the
I don't
government?
know. I've seen a lot of videos on that though.
Where like part of the agreement was these extraterrestrials can abduct 10 people a year.
I haven't heard that number, but
Like they can abduct 10 people a year, but they're not allowed to harm them, and they have to return them back to where they picked them up, and they have to erase their memory.
I don't know.
I have no fucking idea either. It was intriguing. I thought for sure I sent it to you.
You probably did. I don't know.
See, he doesn't even watch the shit I send him.
I digest a lot of video content on the subject matter, and one thing that's interesting is, have you ever seen the video? I think it's just called Skinny Bob. The video that's showing an alien. What's interesting is it's come up time and time again. People have tried to debunk it. It's a very old video, and no one has. And Tom DeLonge, who's kind of at the forefront of pushing out some of these newer videos, the Go Fast, the Gimbal, the other videos that we've covered and reviewed as part of some of these cases, just recently posted that again. And it's interesting with Elizondo coming out with his book Imminent, and that's just kind of out of the blue. It makes me wonder if that's like a legit short clip video of a legit extraterrestrial being.
Was it the extraterrestrial being interviewed? Is that what this is?
No, it's just a video showing him from the side and front.
Okay.
But he's alive,
Oh,
wearing like a black suit.
really?
Very weird.
Did it look like the stereotypical alien?
I guess so.
Like the big eyes and kind of...
Big eyes, small features. Arms were a lot. I guess maybe the arms are typically long, but like body proportions, the arms probably went down to the knees, I would say. And the hands were elongated.
So they had big hands.
But very skinny. But yeah, big head, big eyes, small. I don't even remember if there's a nose or not.
No, it's interesting. So are we both just set kind of like this is plausible?
I think there's no way you're going to definitively say what this is or isn't. It's just an unknown.
Yeah, I just think there's just too... I do find it very intriguing that there was a lot of effort by somebody to cover up whatever people saw. But when you have thousands of people seeing it, it's going to be really hard to do that. Because you're not going to be... For one... Unless people come forward, you'll never know who actually saw it, unless they start posting videos or sending pictures to family, friends. But how do you stop that? Like once it's out,
it's probably a lot easier in 97 than it is in 2024 when everyone's got a personal computer in their pocket, iPhone, Samsung, whatever.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I think, and we both grew up in the 90s, and I forget like the technology we had in 97.
Yeah, dude. Do you remember, like, I was born in...
Dude, we said
the rotary
Polaroids.
phones?
Oh, absolutely. Like, were we still using Polaroids in 97?
No. I don't know. We had a normal camera, I think.
I don't
Dial-up internet. Yeah, the whole shebang.
Yeah, dial-up internet. That's a sound that you'll never forget.
No.
That is funny, though. Yeah, so I don't know, man. I just think that it's got to be something. I think it's plausible because just because of the extraordinary effort that someone was going to potentially silence a bunch of thousands of people. So there was something there. Whether was it UFO, extraterrestrial, shit, I don't know. Was it some foreign government? Maybe. I mean, there's a lot of maybes on this one.
It's disappointing that the governor brought out some dude dressed as an alien. I get it. It's probably like a joke thing, but to the topic, it just discourages other people who maybe have had something that's unexplainable to come forward with it, and maybe they just sit on it forever.
Yeah, and we've talked about this, and I've made my opinion very clear with that. Is what pisses me off most about when we talk about this stuff is when somebody mocks somebody who's come forward.
Yeah.
And to have a public official come out and blatantly mock thousands of people for what they saw, for one, it's very unprofessional. Now, I do find it funny that he sent an aide out. Can you imagine being that aide and like, I'm not wearing that motherfucker. Yeah. And they're like, no, bitch, you are.
Poor
and he
kid.
Comes out here fucking walking around. He's got a big old fucking alien, whatever. I find that part kind of funny. But I don't find it funny that they're just trying to discredit thousands of people for what they saw.
And just fast forward to like what we talked about with Ryan Graves, right? Like Ryan founded that Americans for Safe Aerospace group, and it was completely because there was no reporting mechanism when they encountered those things. So like you're and even he said, and I think we talked about it too, is like as a pilot, you're not going to report that because you want to keep flying and you don't want to be construed as someone having, whatever mental issue.
Yeah, and I think that community, like as a pilot, that community is very small, and you don't want to. If you were to go out and make this claim, it's going to get around.
Yeah,
and then to your point, people will look at you maybe a little funny because it's like, oh, there's that guy, and next thing you know, they're fucking drawing cartoons and playing all those movies.
Like Fravor, yeah,
which that's all in fun. I get that. I mean, being in the military, that's just funny shit.
Yeah,
and it's just some light humor, just to poke fun a little bit. Not saying that anyone in their flight rooms or whatever was just like completely busting their balls about it.
Yep.
But you will have that in the military. It's a little, nothing wrong with a little ball busting.
Sure.
But I mean, they're obviously different. The different sides from Fravor, Graves, and even Grush when we talked about Grush, because with those guys, other than Grush, there wasn't really any. I want to say there wasn't not really any like government attention. There was, but it wasn't that you would think there would be for reporting a UFO or UAP. If you think of Graves and Fravor, there really wasn't a lot of pushback. I mean, the government even came out and released the video. You know what I mean? But if that was, Bob Lazar or somebody else, they'd be raiding their trinket shop every 30 days.
Yeah.
Even though I'm pretty sure Bob Lazar stole some Element 115. They're just trying to get that shit back.
I feel the same way. Yeah.
Bob, if you're listening, send us a text.
Yeah.
Send us an email.
Love
something.
to have you on.
Yeah, I'd love to have you on. But let us know. Did you actually steal any of it?
Yeah.
We won't tell a soul.
Sure. I don't think he's going to tell us.
Not now. He's like, these motherfuckers will be talking about it all the time on their podcast. Yeah. So I don't know. Like I say, I think it's plausible. I just think that there's a lot of agencies or people that were they went to an extraordinary length to silence people. So there's got to be, that to me gives it some credence.
Yep.
Now, I'm not saying it's UFO. I'm not saying it's UAP, whatever. I'm just saying there was something there that they don't want people to know.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Lights in the sky. A lot of people saw them. There's no debating that there were lights in the sky. It's just no clue what they are.
I just wish that what I found would have stated, were they all white lights? Were they all red lights? Were they blinking red? And
I feel like there's probably, if thousands of people saw it, there's got to be photos and video out there.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just being confiscated, man. I mean, that's why I didn't find it. Oh, no, I didn't actually look for it.
Perfect.
I'm going to blame it on everything was confiscated. That's why I couldn't find anything. Now, all of a sudden, our comments are going to be blown up with all the YouTube.
Viewers going to be like, what are you talking about? I just typed in Phoenix Lights in Google, and here's like 15 images.
Here's like 30 videos and 15 images.
Yeah. Perfect.
Please do. We'd like to watch those.
Yeah. Give us something to analyze.
Yeah. Let us go back and look at that, and then maybe we can reevaluate what our position is on this one.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, goodness. I don't know. Yeah, that's where I'm at. So you're there too?
Yeah, plausible. Who knows? Whether it's black ops, aliens, who knows? It could have been something. Again, I think the hard part is it's at night. You have no sense of elevation. We're these low plains and high plains and really just all plains. For that many people seeing it, it's weird. It seems to me like it's probably plains, but I don't know. There's just not enough things to point in one direction or the other than you did say that NORAD said that there was nothing on the radar.
The FFA and NORAD, yeah.
Yeah, so that's interesting.
But again, that could just be them saying there was nothing there. But in all reality, they had 30 unknown objects flying in some type of formation.
Right. You know, the one interesting thing too is talking about Phoenix. Like almost all the stuff we've talked about seems to happen on coasts or near water, and this is like the first one that's just over land, which is kind of interesting.
Well, I mean, there's more out there. I mean, obviously, we want to talk about Roswell at some point.
Yep.
So, I mean, that's over land, and there's been how many sightings or claims out there? Mm-hmm. You know, that would actually be a kick-ass place to do a live stream.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, would.
We'll have to add that to the list.
Yeah.
Speaking of, we have now hit 80 subscribers.
Oh, sweet. So we can live stream?
We can now live stream.
Okay.
I don't know how that works.
Yeah, I have no clue.
We really need to get someone who's like techie.
Yeah, we do.
We have no fucking idea.
I don't have that in my repertoire.
I don't either. And you can only watch so many YouTube videos.
Yeah, I'd rather drink beer and listen to music personally than try to figure out how to do all that shit.
Yeah, well, I mean, to be honest with you, I spent, let's see, after I got off work one day, I spent 3 hours editing our very first video because I had to figure that shit out. There's a lot of YouTubing.
Well, it also took us 3 hours to do our first like 3-minute video clip.
That was true. Yeah, it did. It took us
a minute per hour.
Yeah, that was legit. Yeah. I mean, we're dum-dums when it comes to technology, man. The only reason we can figure this out is because there's lights and it's color-coded.
Yeah.
Like this red goes with that red, and that goes with that red, which controls my headphones.
Yeah.
And my mic.
Very color coordinated.
This is like whoever invented this had to have been a Marine.
Yeah. I don't know.
Color code shit.
I do like it. It's just like the camera. The camera app's super easy to use too.
It is. Yeah. We just got to, I mean, there's going to be trial and error. Again, we're
just drinking beer in the garage.
Absolutely.
Get what you pay for, which is free.
And why anybody watches this, I have no idea, but we do appreciate you. Oh, we just lost a light.
Oh, no.
See?
There you go.
We lost the light.
Yep.
All right. Well, if you like this video, please hit the like, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, hit the little notification. It will let you know whenever we release new content. And obviously that is for YouTube. You can follow us on Instagram, Otherworldly Encounter Podcast. For whatever reason, my daughter, when she set it up, forgot the S.
Fired for the billionth time.
Yeah, we fired her for 5 times now.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, but it's hard to keep firing free labor.
Hard to find good help, you know?
Well, she's getting ready to go off to college and she's going into media, so she's going to come back and expect to get paid.
Yep.
So we better hit it big by that time.
She's got a performance improvement plan to work through.
It's all right. So Brian and I were just messing around. We sent her a PIP, process improvement plan. And I spelled her middle name wrong on purpose. And this thing had 20 different.
Boy, it was long.
It was long. And the only thing she took from it when I got the text message back was, "You spelt my middle name wrong." She didn't fucking read it.
I don't think she took it very seriously.
Obviously not.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
Whatever.
She'll be hired again tomorrow because, it's free.
Yeah. But we need the help.
We do need the help. And then we're on Facebook, Otherworldly Encounters. We're on Facebook as well. Leave your comments.
Yep.
Share your stories. We really would like to have maybe that's what we'll do for our first live episode, man. We'll come on live and we'll have maybe we'll talk about some of our listeners' actual personal stories that they had.
It'd be cool.
And then I have no idea. We have to try it out, but I believe that they could probably talk to us at the same time live through YouTube.
Great question.
I have no idea. I watched some videos when people go live and people are talking and putting shit in the comments. So
it can probably happen. It's just whether we could do it or not.
Yeah, it might be a lot for us to manage. Yeah. I mean, you get enough beers in there.
It usually doesn't help.
It does not help. Oh, but I think Gregory, going back to Gregory, he owes us beer.
He does?
He does. We did not hit the like count that he said we're going to hit. We got the views. We got a lot of views. It was almost 900 and some views. It was 880, I think, the last time I saw it.
Okay.
But close to 900.
Yeah.
And we were close. I think we were like 70 some, 80 some likes.
Okay.
And he said 100.
Okay.
So we didn't hit it.
Well, hey, I'll take all the beer.
So he owes us beer. So Gregor, if you're watching, pay up, bud. You owe us some beer.
And make sure you guys send us your beer recommendation.
Yeah.
Again, we're always looking for new stuff. And I'm just going to throw it out there too. I'm a big music fan. Like if you've got band recommendations, I want to hear them. If there's shout outs and somebody's cool, like we'll give you some free PR on the podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. We have no problem just giving people free PR.
Yeah.
For now.
That's it.
Once we got our first like from a beer company on one of our Instagram posts.
Who gave us that?
Cheers.
Who gave us the like?
Was it Rheingeist?
No.
Or was it? Oh, no, it was Brewdog.
Mm-hmm.
And here we are sitting here drinking Rheingeist. Yeah,
Well,
Rheingeist.
listen, I'm not going to drink the same beer forever. So you got to earn my business.
That's true. But we hit the big time.
Yeah, clearly.
We hit the big time. So we can now retire. This is going to be our last episode of Otherworldly Encounters.
Shut her down.
We're shutting it down after we got the like from a beer company.
Yeah, perfect.
Absolutely. All right. So again, YouTube, like us, share. Oh, yeah, we're also on Spotify and all those podcast platforms. Our Instagram and
Facebook. Hit us up. Tell us your stories. We want to hear them. We need some good material to come back with, and we'd love to talk to you people too. So
yeah, and I think the viewers who have watched this enough know that we like to have fun. We like to laugh.
Yeah.
So I don't care how stupid or how silly you think this thing is.
Yeah.
Even fucking better.
Yeah.
Like if I could sit here and laugh for an hour about some of the weird shit, like the cockroach of California.
Yep.
Are you wanting to correct me again?
No, I hear about it.
Are we past that? All right. Or the space penguins.
Yeah.
Stuff was legit.
Both great.
They were just so funny. I think they're believable.
Yeah.
Minus the cockroach.
Both believable. I don't know about that. They're funny.
Minus the cockroach.
Yeah.
Minus
All
cockroach.
right. Well, until next time, keep your mind open, your eyes on the sky. You never know what's going to fly by.
And with that, we'll catch you on the next one.